How do you build your dog's confidence? One of the best ways you can do it is through play. In this video, I'm going to share with you all the tips that I share with my own student and I have implemented over the years training police dog and handler teams. So there's going to be loads of golden nuggets in this video to help build confidence with your dog through play. And if you're brand new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Building confidence in a dog can be done through play. So first off, when we're talking about building confidence through interactive play, remember, we've got to build desire first. It's got to be something they love. If we've got that wrong, then a super nervous dog will switch off. But the biggest piece of the puzzle is the body language part of interactive play. Our body language and how we position ourselves during play of any sort will influence heavily how the dogs feel. And if we've got a dog that is not very confident, then we can very easily put a dog like that off by doing three things. The first thing, let's say I've got a toy like this, super short handle, lovely, lovely rabbit fur, beautiful, squeaker. Oh, it's got all the things, very short. If I've got a little dog and I go to play with them and I short handle, I've got to lean down and I've got to go like this to play with my dog, there's a few things happening. Number one is I'm very close to the toy. So wherever they're going to connect with the toy, there's not much distance between the dog and me. Equally, because it's a small dog, I'm having to lean over. Because this toy is short in its handle, then I'm having to lean over. So straight away, I'm looming over the dog in really close proximity, and that can be really off-putting. So my advice, I would switch that toy straight away for something with a longer handle. So it looks very similar, right? Now, you need to do a bit of trial and error with toys. Some dogs go crazy for that, but equally, they might prefer something a bit more like this, which is like a sheep, skinny, fluffy thing. Some dogs don't like that at all. Some dogs love it. So it just depends on the dog. But either way, let's put a long handle on it. All of a sudden, I no longer need to lean over because I can reach the floor with it. No problem. So I can stand up straight. The other thing I can do is, you're the dog. I'm no longer here playing with the toy. I'm able to go away, way, way back here. All of a sudden, that distance between me and my anxious dog, a dog that really does worry, all of a sudden I've taken an awful lot of pressure off by creating a bit of distance. Another thing that you can do is being absolutely face on to your dog can be quite intimidating still. To take pressure off even further, you can turn to the side a little bit. Straight away, it takes off a bit of pressure. The next thing you can do is we can make our body language a lot lower. So rather than this being tall, standing over the top, this looming figure, all of a sudden, I'm lower down and I'm further away and I'm turning away slightly. The other thing you can do, obviously, and this is all down to your physical ability, if you can get down on the floor with your dog, get down on the floor. Getting down low, actually sitting on the floor, makes a huge difference to how they feel as far as coming in close to you and actually getting engaged in play. So being low, nice, big, open body language is a massive bonus, because a lot of people are intent on grabbing and looming in and getting a hold of, actually encouraging dogs in, whether you're kneeling down on the floor, which takes a lot of pressure off, or whether you actually stand up and you want your dog to come back towards you. Actually, big open body language does a lot to boost confidence for your dog to be able to come in, and also not going in to grab at dogs, moving backwards. Encouraging them to you does a massive amount to helping the body language influence confidence with play. I'm using tug as an example there, but if we were using, say, our dog loved to fetch something, I would say the same thing. You're throwing the toy away. It doesn't have to be a huge distance, but let's say you're throwing it a little distance away. A lot of people might be tempted to encourage the dog to come back, but when they come a little bit closer, to dive in and grab. So body language again can put them off and they start to like dodge around you at the last minute. But actually getting down on the ground, like I showed you there, with a nice open body language, it can take all the pressure off and they'll be much more comfortable coming towards you. But equally, if you're standing up, if you've got a bigger dog and you're just using open body language, stepping backwards, encouraging them to you, makes a huge difference. And hopefully me doing this like literally directly to you is helping you see how, you know, me being close is a little bit intimidating. I'm not that intimidated, but the difference is it's quite intense, isn't it, when you're up close? But all of a sudden you feel a bit more comfortable. You can tune in as a human to human. We've all been in a queue where someone's like, here, that's a bit close. Don't like it. I don't feel very comfortable. So even we feel it when we're in a certain situation and proximity to a thing that can make us feel a bit uncomfortable. Dogs are no different. So we can definitely build confidence through our body language. I want really for you to tune in at the kind of like heart level, is just watch the dog, observe. We don't need to talk all the time. One of the things I'll say is just be silent and watch. When you do that, you'll learn a lot more by tuning in, listening to your intuition, listening to your heart, really kind of connecting at that level. You'll learn tons more. The other way to build confidence with interactive play, especially at the early stages, is really talk about freedom. You know, I think a lot of the time you maybe think this dog loves to fetch. They must go out, pick it up, bring it straight back to me. And anything other than that is wrong. Try and get rid of that kind of thinking. You're never going to get it perfect straight off. So to build confidence, actually giving them a bit of freedom to do things incorrectly, or for mine, running around me with a toy rather than straight back to me to retrieve something to me. I don't give them a hard time about that. I don't put pressure on myself because I know over time that will get better. The more pressure I put on to a dog to just be right from the beginning generally doesn't pan out very well. And what I know is that we can shape it into something that is much more like when they pick things up, they're comfortable coming back towards me. With a dog that is low in confidence, then you can leave out rules. We want them just to engage in play. That's the primary focus with a dog like that. Building their confidence, building them up each time you play so that they feel like they can win, like they can come to you and not feel intimidated, and they can engage in play in a way that makes them feel confident. It's more about that for me than it is about being correct. So giving them the freedom to not be perfect and not follow any kind of specific rules, because ultimately there is no right and wrong way to do things. You can make up your own rules, but yeah, give them a bit of freedom, give yourself a bit of freedom to just develop play. There's a lot of things you can do within play, which is more than just playing the game. And I think most people look at playing with our dogs as just a very surface level thing. Yeah, I played fetch, or I got one of these thrower things and I've got a toy and I threw it quite a few times, and dog's tired now and he's absolutely shattered and he's had a great exercise. But it's not connected. And I think we're missing a big piece of the puzzle, because a lot of the time when people say, you know, play me, except when there's a distraction, or except when fill in the blank. When we treat our rewards and our interactivity with our dogs at this kind of very surface level, it will only give a connection at a certain depth, and it's equally as surface level. Something better comes along, they'll probably disconnect quite easily and go and check out something that's more interesting to them. With all my police dogs, with all my students' dogs, I have encouraged people to really tune in to the skills around play, because it not only builds the dog's confidence, it builds your confidence as well. The final thing, quite a lot of the time, we play probably for too long and sometimes too short. So if it's too short, we've perhaps been told you need to play for a couple of minutes or a minute and things. I give advice like that all the time. But some dogs really only get into the swing of it at that point, and people are like, all right, it's a minute, I'll stop now. Not, ugh, you know, what happened there? When it comes to duration, and this was one of the questions, how many sessions would you have in a day? So it would very much depend on the dogs, and what I used to do, especially with a young dog or a new dog to me, is I would just gauge the mood. They definitely look like they feel like they want to play. And I would use those moments to have like just short sessions to build desire. It could be once or twice in a day. It actually might be 3, 4 or 5 times in a day. As they get older, probably don't do it just as much, but in the early stages, I don't rule it out. But I love to just play with the dogs. I love going to the park and just playing in a place where we can have fun together. No restrictions on how often. What I will say is duration-wise, what you're looking to do, especially when you're building it at first, is you're really looking to get the play to a point where they're really engaged in it and they're really enjoying it. And this is for building desire as well, is to then start to think about finishing the play. And then when you end the play, you put the reward, the toy, whatever it is, away, out of the way, and limit the access. Judge the duration by what you feel. Some people can go on way too long and the dog starts to switch off or get bored. Then we've gone on for too long. With a dog that struggles with confidence, they can switch off very quickly just by our body language. So just being careful and being maybe a bit more gentle with a dog that is not so confident, and yeah, judge it. It could be short, it could be a bit longer, but don't go on for so long that they get bored. We want to build desire. Smaller, shorter sessions, more frequent, I prefer, rather than one big long session and them switching off eventually. What I'm trying to do when I build interactive play is I'm trying to build value for me and wanting to play with me and making me the most valuable thing in the world. I'm really talking about getting our dogs and ourselves to a point where the way we play just feels really natural, and so much so, and we find it so much fun that actually I can now start to use it as rewards. It's really not an awful lot to do with the toys. We buy all these beautiful, like they're all brightly colored. We're like, oh my goodness, look at all the toys. It's another shiny object. I must get another one. Hold on a minute, I've got 2. They're even the same color. Why do I need 2? I've actually got about 6, but anyway, that's another story. But it's not really about this. It's about playing with me. It's about me being valuable, so that when I call my dog back when there's a distraction, and when they come running back to me because we've done all those foundation games, I've now got the interactive play. The interactive part of our play can be the amazing reward for them doing something good.
So those are some of my top tips for building confidence with your dog through play. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's lots of tips in there. You probably find it's one of those videos that you need to watch over 2, 3 or 4 times. And if you'd like to learn more about game-based training, how it can help you, what makes it different, then I have a free web class that explains how game-based dog training works and how it can work like magic. That free web class has the potential to really change the way you think about dog training. All you need to do is click the link below this video to register for the class. It's totally free. And don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so more people can get to see the video. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you in the next video.